Three ways to make $1 million, pounds, euros as an artist. I want to talk about this in today's episode for so many reasons. Number one, because quite often a lot of people that I see in our audience don't actually believe that this is even possible. Number two, I want to talk about the perception of success surrounding this money goal. And then number three, I want to show you, if that's of interest to you, to hit a million, the three ways that you can as an artist. So, first of all, I just want to talk about this whole goal of hitting a million. So, it is just a number at the end of the day. And I know that for some people, hitting a million is just not, it's just not an option. It's just not something that some people want to aim towards, and that's absolutely fine. I just want to get this really clear because I actually don't like being around all the conversation that defines success based on a number that you earn or bring in. I think it's absolutely incredible to hear stories from people making a million or multi-millions even. So last week I recorded a podcast. It's episode 187, the one before this one. And this is what sparked this conversation, because in that episode I brought my mentor Stu. And Stu works with many people, helping them make hundreds of thousands, millions from memberships. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But what that brought up for lots of people that watched that episode last week were messages coming into me saying, can this really happen to me? Is this just trying to sell people a dream that actually isn't possible or reserved for a few? And tell me more about this, which is why I wanted to record this episode today. So, first of all, hitting a million, like I say, is just a number. It doesn't actually define your success. It's something that you can aim towards for fun to see whether you can get there, or to be a serious goal. But in all of this, what I've realized is money is just money. Money comes, money goes. I've seen many people hit a million and then it's gone. And that's what we've got to bear in mind here. We're just talking about a number, a million. And for me, it's a goal that I play around with, and one that I've kind of secretly had for a long time, because coming from a council estate with no money and brought up with very little education, like the thought of having a business that brought in 1 million just seemed absurd to me. So that's why it was kind of like a game for me. Like, can someone like me really do that? And that's where my curiosity of this number, this 1 million, came from. And I guess that's how I've landed myself in a mastermind group that is centered around that. People in the mastermind that I'm in are aiming towards big financial goals, and they're aiming towards seven figures, and lots of them are hitting it. And I find it fascinating. I really do. Not just because of the money that they make, because I am a little bit, I will be honest, sometimes I don't like being around that how much money do you make? And then people, when it's the definition and that's the only thing we can see good about that person is, oh my gosh, they make all that money. You want to see beyond that. I like to see the mindset. I like to know the story behind how they got there, and I want to know the details and what's happening now, and what's that made possible for you as an artist, and how has it impacted other people's lives. That's the bit I'm interested in. And so for me, I'm as interested in someone whether they've made 1,000 or a million. But what I love about this story of people in my circles hitting millions and a million and hundreds of thousands is it's so empowering. And it's so incredible to see people in the art space making really amazing money whilst they're still alive. You know, we used to joke years ago that to make that kind of money, you'd have to die and you'd never see it. Well, not anymore. And this is what I find so empowering for artists. Now, yeah, not all of us here are going to make a million. Let's face it, you know, it's fact. Not everyone is going to do it because it's, for some people, it's easy. And I have seen people get to the million mark, you know, within 2, 3 years. It's possible. But what I will say is it does take a certain kind of person to get to that level. You know, it takes somebody who's hungry, it takes someone who's determined, it takes someone who's fearless and who's ready to push through. And so what's exciting though is seeing people in our field, in the creative industries, absolutely making that kind of money. And I think it's wonderful to see. So that's why I want to share this, which leads me to the next part of this conversation. That, okay, out of all of us listening to this right now, I don't know, 1% might actually get there. The people that get there are the people that are determined, the people that actually believe in the first place that it's actually a possibility. And that is where this conversation comes in and why I introduced you and share these stories with you. Because listening right now will be people who will go on to make thousands and thousands and possibly hit a million, because it's possible and it's doable. And this is the first step. It's actually believing that this is for me. I could actually do that if I wanted to, and then it's your choice. But what I find really sad is when lots of people, and I see it in our community, they don't even think it's an option for them. They've written it off. It's not even an option. Getting to a million is ludicrous. That's ridiculous. It's for these fancy people. It's for these intelligent people. It's for the educated. It's for the clever, the smart, the tech savvy. You know, it's for those people. And they don't even put it on their radar as an opportunity or as an option. And that's where I want to plant a seed today, because when someone years ago said to me, you know, do you play the lottery? And I said, no. And they said, wouldn't you like, £1 million? And I said, yeah, but I'd like to earn it. I'd rather earn it and play this game than someone just hand it to me. And that's just me, by the way. And I'm not knocking it. And if someone came knocking on my door tomorrow and said, I found a lottery ticket, it's got your name on it, I would not say no. Let's get that clear. But, you know, I've always, for me, it's this kind of like personal, like this, I've got this personal, it's a chip on my shoulder. I'll be honest, it's a chip on my shoulder from the past that I have. It's like proving to myself. And then here's the thing with it too, for me. So I've surpassed 1 million now in my business overall. Well over 1 million, which just is that is so crazy to me. To turn over 1 million in 1 year, you know, is a goal that I toy with, and it's almost like I have this relentless, uh, it's like a secret desire to just see whether I could actually do it, and then I wonder whether the day I do it, then I'll just shut everything down and go and just live on a farm and retreat, and it's like I did it. But in all seriousness, though, it's just something I explore, and whether I actually do it or not, to me, doesn't matter. You know, for me, it's not really about the be all and end all. Like, I want to get to 1 million and then I've made it and then I'll feel successful and then I'll be happy. It's not about that. It's actually, could I do it? And wow, wouldn't that be bonkers if I did it? And more to the point is the journey of playing with this idea and what it does for me when I think about hitting a big goal. It really helps me expand my thinking, helps me think out of the box in terms of how I would hit that goal. It helps me start to put myself in circles where people are doing that and it's normalized. And I'm seeing amazing things happening in other people's lives. And I find that so exciting. I can live through other people's success. I don't feel envious of it at all. I feel so inspired and excited by it. I love being around people that are doing great things. So for me, it expands my thinking. It expands when I think about getting to that level, and I think about who do I need to be, do have to get to that goal. It starts to help me really think about my mindset and how I approach things, the books that I read. So I develop myself. I'm thinking about bigger projects, expanding that thinking instead of thinking small and being in my comfort zone. I'm thinking bigger and thinking about owning bigger projects and running teams, and that has expanded me as a person. And so although I'm not there as in a million in 1 year, I've got like way further ahead financially than I ever dreamt possible, but also as a person and the way I developed, the connections that I've made, the places that I've been around the world, the things that I have stepped into and done, the book that I've written, the people that I've spoken to and invited in on my podcast. And I'm not even close to that yet. So for me, it's like this, there's a gap, and I'm playing and exploring, how do I get there? And what does that look like? And so for me, it's a win-win. If I don't get there, it really doesn't matter to me, because I'm just having the most incredible time exploring it and learning about myself. But the part of this is I absolutely know that a million in 1 year is possible for me. I know it. And I'm exploring why it's not coming, and what's happening here in my own life and what's getting in my way. And it's exciting. And to the point of this money goal, rather than it me just be, oh, I want to hit a million just so I can tick it off a list, it's so much more than that. It's when I hit that goal, what does that mean in terms of what good I give back to the world? What does it mean in terms of the people that I will have impacted and the lives I will have impacted? What impact it will have on my family and myself getting there in that, the self-development part, but also the work that I'll be doing when I hit that amount, and the good that I'll be able to do by hiring people and expanding their experience in all of this too. And that's the part that's really exciting, the person that I'm becoming and the impact that it can also have and make. So it's not then just a number, like I said at the beginning, it's just a number. It's this whole experience and this whole thing. So that part is like breaking through the limits that we place, because it is available to all of us. We could all reach that if we really, really desire it and we want it enough. It's available for all of us in today's world. And here's how. So let me get to the three. Okay, number one, 3 ways to make a million as an artist. Number one is to sell at a premium. If you're just selling art alone, for example, the way is to sell at a premium. And there are lots of people out there that make millions from just their art sales alone. Now, here's the downside to this. The downside is it can take time. There's lots of networking, there's lots of development in terms of your art. And it's about being in those right circles to make that happen, to connect with collectors, and to be in those circles where people are investing. Because to make that kind of money, you need to be selling for tens of thousands for individual pieces. Now, that isn't impossible. There are, like I say, so many artists out there. If you want to start going down that road, follow those artists that are making millions from their work, question how they did it, follow their pathway in your own way, but understanding how they did it and how they got out there and what circles they're in and who they're connected with, because that is possible. But again, though, there are hoops that you jump through, and it isn't as easy, and the percentage of people able to do that are teeny tiny in comparison to these other ways that I'm about to share. Number two, licensing your work. So amazing friends of mine, Maria Brophy is a friend of mine, and her husband Drew, who I talk about all the time and who I highly recommend if you want to learn anything about licensing. They are my go-to on licensing. They have made millions over the years from licensing. And what licensing is, for those who don't know, is taking an artwork and licensing that to other people to use on products, and then you make royalties back off that. So instead of just selling that one artwork, you license it and make lots more money off that one artwork than if you had just sold the original. And licensing is a whole world to understand. And actually, I'll pop a link below to Maria Brophy if you'd like to learn more about licensing. I'll drop that below. But that is a way to make money passively whilst you're sleeping and to scale. Because to sell just art, usually artists hit a ceiling because there's only so much capacity. If you're on a sliding scale like this, usually the growth can be 20-30% a year. It can take a really long time to get to that, artist that's making millions. To get there fast, it's a more aggressive way of doing it. So inevitably artists kind of like burnout or plateau. That's what tends to happen. They kind of plateau for a while and coast at a certain amount. They can't seem to push past it. So licensing is a way of pushing past that, because you can make money from the same artwork, putting it in the right places without having to do anything, and that person goes off and sells the product. So that's another way. And the third way, which is the way I absolutely love, is membership sites and teaching and courses. And so my mentor Stu teaches this, and again there's a link below to join the workshop that's just about to happen at the point of recording this. You can listen to the podcast previous to this one where my mentor Stu comes in to talk about membership sites in more detail. But a membership site or a subscription based model, or even selling courses online, is such a super way of scaling. And the great thing with memberships and subscription based is that you don't need qualifications. You don't need a massive following. You don't even need to leave your house. And this is what I built, 10 years ago next year was when I started to build United Art Space. And so this model is scalable and you can tie it in with your artwork. And so different ways of running a membership or a subscription can be people subscribe to receive your physical art, or they subscribe to be part of a community, or they subscribe to, you can even have it like a Patreon where people are subscribing to be part of your world and to have discounts and to access your private viewings and things like that. Or it can be to teach. So it can be to teach your art skills to other people, or to tie it into your art in some way, which is what I always advise to do. If you can tie it into what you love, it's just going to be easy. If you can tie your membership into what you love and live and breathe, like I do, like I don't feel like I'm working. When I say I'm working today, might be at a weekend, and people are say that's a shame. I'm like, no, it's not a shame. I absolutely love what I do. Of course I have days where I'm drowned in things, and but you know what, I absolutely love it. And that's not a lie, because I'm still here today 10 years on with the same passion and enthusiasm, and you can't make this up. So I'm shocked, because 10 years ago, I was scared about setting a membership site up, because I just thought, wow, that sounds really limiting. And it feels really, what if I change my mind and I can't get out of it? What if I hate it and I've got all these people, and what do I do? And what if I give bad advice? What if I suck at this? All those fears in the very beginning about being an imposter, about not knowing enough, about getting it wrong, about being drowned in things, about losing connection to my own art, all of those fears. But actually, it's totally enriched everything and made my life so much more fulfilling, connected me more to my art in ways that I didn't even know I could get closer to my art. And so, for me, it's really helped me by having a membership. It's really helped me find my voice and really connect with the purpose of my own art is to give back and to, if I want to help people, how do I do that? And everything that I do now, I'm always thinking about how can I turn this into something that I could help for other people. And so for me, it's totally changed everything. And so for you, that could be a way. I had a one-to-one with an artist today who is sat on a gold mine. I tell you, they have all this experience teaching in a certain material. I won't share too much because I know that they are just about to set a membership site up, so I don't want to give too much of it away. Um, and it was a private conversation, but they are sat on a gold mine, I tell you, and they at the moment they're struggling selling at markets. They are selling workshops and undercharging and really tiring themselves out. And we had a one-to-one today talking about their membership and how literally, I mean, really quickly they could start making thousands and thousands a month. With not much effort really at the beginning because they've got it already. It's just so exciting for me when I can see this in people. And this is why I wanted to talk about this today. It's about one, knowing that that amount of money is available if you want it. And you don't have to aim for that amount of money. It doesn't mean that you are lazy, or you don't have a big ambition, or it doesn't. It's a number. It's just a number. It's a number that we play with. And I'm sharing this with you though to expand your thinking and say it's there if you want it, and it's absolutely possible. And there are ways that you can do that, and to know that internally, and then you can decide whether it's something you want to go towards or not. But know that it's your decision. Don't just disregard it completely as not an option for you. This is what excites me about these membership sites. If you want to learn more about memberships, the link is below. There's an amazing training with Stu who does this once a year, which is what completely changed my life years ago when I first took Stu's free training. And I'll be doing it again because for me, I feel like I'm on the cusp of a new direction and really exciting things. I've already grown so much as a person in the last 10 years, and I feel like I'm just getting going. And I've had a lot of mindset blocks to overcome and all sorts, trying to figure all of this crazy stuff out. And I feel like I'm going into the next 10 years very, very excited about membership still, and growing that and evolving it into something bigger and better. And yeah, it's exciting. It really is. And I just have to say before we wrap up that this isn't false. This isn't fake stories. Like, I am literally in a membership with Stu and I've been in it for years, and I've seen people go from zero up to millions, and they're making millions now. And lots of friends of mine we're in the mastermind together, are in the art space making hundreds of thousands now. And I'm not going to sit here and say that that can just happen for you overnight, because many of them have done this over time. It's taken them a long time to get to where they are. Some people can accelerate faster than others, but the majority of people, it takes time. And that's why, if this is a seed of an idea, get going now, because it took me about 4 years to actually make money from mine. And it can take time because, one, you can start to go through this journey realizing you've got loads of money mindset blocks and you've got to kind of work on yourself. Two, there's a learning curve of understanding what it is and what you're going to be known for and how you're going to get that message across. These things can take time to figure out. And it doesn't mean it's not possible for you. It means there's some work to do, because a million doesn't come just overnight quickly, but it's there if you want it. But it takes work. it does take work. And this is why I encourage people, if it's on your radar, to get stuck in now. Take that free workshop and soak it up and start to move now, because it could take a few years. So the sooner you get going with this idea that you have, then you'll get going today. Don't put it off. If it's a seed of an idea, get going now. Start taking steps forward. Super. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to come back next week with more motivation and inspiration for you all. I'm also going to be hosting a secret workshop on this topic, showing you behind the scenes of my own membership. So if this is something that you're interested in, keep a lookout in my inbox, in your inbox, because I'm going to be sharing a workshop just for our email list, and I'm going to be taking you through how I've set up my membership. So take care, my friends, and remember that it's available to you if you want it. Take care. Bye.